Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Rad's Research Room, and I'm Dr. Radhika Kamdar. Now if you're looking for a PhD or postdoc position, the most important step is to reach out to your potential mentors. And I've already made a previous video. If you've not checked it out, please do check it out. A step-wise process on how to finding and choosing the right mentor for your research goals. So one of the most important steps to applying for a PhD or a postdoc position is reaching out to your mentor, communication. And the first step to communication is drafting an email. So how exactly do you do that? In today's video, I'll give you an 8-step guide and walk you through writing a very compelling and professional email that will increase your chances of getting noticed by your dream mentor. So let's dive in. Stay tuned to the end of this video and I will share how I found my dream mentor for my PhD position. Now before you draft in your email, first step is to do your own homework. So look through the university websites and look at the professors' profiles, check out their LinkedIn profiles, Google Scholar, etc. Find out their recent publications, their ongoing projects and their broad research interests. Let me give you a couple of examples about how to do that. So I will use myself as an example to show how to search for your favorite mentor. So type their name in Google. The first option might be a LinkedIn profile. You can of course check their entire bio in the LinkedIn, and I'm sure you know how to do that. If not, please drop a comment in the comment box LinkedIn and I will make a detailed video about LinkedIn profiles. For now, let's look at the most common databases that you can search any mentor for example ResearchGate. Now it would be amongst the first ones, so just click on the link and you will be taken to the ResearchGate page. Now this would be a complete professional profile of any mentor. It will give you the number of publications, citations, the current and previous affiliations, any professional experiences that they may have included in their profile, and you will be able to access the abstract for all the articles that will be cited in various journals or publicly available indexed databases. So click on any article, look at the abstract, look at their manuscript. There will even be book chapters or whatever publications they have been a part of so far. So you can see I have several publications here. If you click on view, you will be able to see the complete abstract. And also some of these articles are free for download. Now some may not be, there might be a pay firewall, but usually they will be accessible. You can either download them or sometimes they're even available directly on the ResearchGate page. Now some of these journals we have subscriptions for, so they are very easily available. So you can go through the article, you can go through several articles, find the topic of your interest, and then look at the most recent or the most significant findings in their publications, something that aligns with your research interest. And these things will form the body of your email. Then the second step is to craft a very professional, very concise and a targeted subject line. Avoid any vague titles such as applicant or looking for a PhD position or help needed or prospective PhD applicant or postdoc, PhD or postdoc. Write according to your research interest and show what you will be interested in and how it aligns with their research interest in the subject line. So let me give you a couple of examples and I will also give you a basic template of how a professional email should look like. So always make sure that your subject line is very precise and very professional. Start with something like interest in PhD or postdoc opportunity in the research topic which aligns with your and their lab interests. Or you can also say seeking a research opportunity in the research topic, specify the research topic and mention under the guidance and their names. Now you can skip the last part here if you don't want to make the subject line too long, but always make sure that you include the research topic of your choice and that is something which also aligns with their research in the lab. Next is to craft a very strong opening of the email. So you always start with pleasantries or greetings such as dear, with a prefix or any title that they use ahead of their name, whether it's a professor or a doctor, and use the last name of the researcher. Now, some students and postdoc applicants may try and use the whole name, but that may sound unnecessary, and it might lose the little bit professional touch. So just stick to the last name, because that's how even the publications are cited, with last name and et al. So last name is usually very popular unless they are using only their first names or any other form of their names. And another thing to be very careful is the title, whether they use a professor or doctor. Please look at their web pages or their profile and find out what their title is. Usually, an assistant or associate professor would not be using a title such as professor, they will be sticking to doctor. And if you are in any kind of confusion, then avoid using professor and just stick to doctor, because all the mentors would be PhD and all they would have is a doctor ahead of their name. So that would keep you in the safe zone rather than using a wrong title. So let's look at the opening. How will you open, or how your first paragraph to the email will look? Start with a very short pleasantry that I hope this email finds your well, and start with your name. Try to give your full name. If you are applying for a postdoc, you can use dr dot ahead of your name. If you're applying for a PhD, then just stick to your name. And also mention you recently completed what, your topic, of course MSc or PhD in the field, and your university name. This should be completely in one sentence without any additional embellishments on this. Be very precise and very short and very crisp. Next, start explain about that you have been following their research topic. Please mention the specific topic that you would be interested in, or something that you would hop on later if you join the lab and you would take it forward for your degree or your postdoctoral program. And then mention the recent paper or a project or research area that you might have found interesting, which closely aligns with your academic and research interests. So try to stick to one or two papers. Do not go through 10 or 15. Choose one topic, any one project, and look at the most significant findings and make this a very strong opening. This paragraph of your email will actually initiate the professor to read further, or if this does not convey your research interest, they might skip the email altogether. Then comes the next part, that is highlighting your qualifications, why you would be appropriate for their particular project and why they should hire you, because this is very early stages and you are not here at the interview stage. So you have to convey everything through your first email. So you start with whether it's a MSc or PhD and briefly describe your research in one or two sentences. Do not make it a very long essay, or do not give a summary or abstract of your thesis or your dissertation. Just stick to couple of sentences. And if you have any major findings that have resulted in publications, mention them in key points. Now, some may argue here that a short paragraph is sufficient, but in my experience, I have learned it from depending on various types of mentors and professors. Some of them, they get very attracted to key points. So try to give the key findings in a couple of points. Do not make a whole list of 5-10 findings. One or two most significant findings, and keep them short and crisp like the highlights, and do not elaborate too much on them. Then comes the next part of the same category, highlighting your qualifications. Mention your skills. Okay, so this sentence is just for reference, and you just start with that. My expertise includes, highlight the techniques, any specific methodologies and software. Now, do not give everything here that you know. Find out what skills or software expertise you possess that would be beneficial for their project, and this you can find out from their publication. See what methods or softwares or tools they use frequently or recurrently, and whether you have that expertise. If you do, it will do you very good to highlight that here. And you can use bold or use a different color. Do not make it overly colorful, or use 3-4 different colors. Just stick to one or two. Use a standard black color for the email and try to just list these things in a dark blue or a light red, pinkish red color or something, so it catches their eye and they can find it interesting, and they could find it easily that it aligns with their research in the lab. So this would be very crucial to for them to decide whether you would be a good fit for a particular project. And give an extra line about that you are interested in joining in the lab and to contribute and expand to that particular project, because it has to be relevant to your research area as well, whatever your background is. Then in the next step, that is the fifth step, you ask about the availability of the positions, and you have to ask a question. Do not just make it a narrative, try to make it interactive so they are prompted to reply to your email. So in the almost the final paragraph, you will ask whether they have PhD positions available in their group. Mention the specific aspect of their research, something that you would be interested in, a particular project. It can be, if it is a large group, they would have several projects, so just find one or two that you would like to be part of and you would like to contribute, and give them the opening that you would want to discuss the potential opportunities to collaborate or be part of their lab. For a postdoc, you can be a little more specific because you already have a PhD and you would be expert in a particular skill, a particular field of research. So do say that you want to collaborate, like rather than work for them, you want collaboration opportunities, because arbitrarily your next step would be going on for an academic career. So describe that project briefly, give refer to the ongoing projects, highlight their findings, and accordingly you say what potential collaboration or opportunities you can work on together with them and further the research in the lab. And then final line would be the same for both, that you have attached your CV. For PhD students, you apply only your CV, and for the postdocs, you can attach your CV as well as a couple of your best publications, and just say that it's for your reference or for your kind perusal. The final step for your email draft would be a proper and a very professional closing, but do not complete the email, leave it open. So how do you leave it open is to say that you would appreciate an opportunity to discuss this further at their convenience, of course. So ask them for a brief meeting or a appointment for a video call, or if you are in the same city or something, and if they can make time for you to come and visit their lab in person, so you can change this accordingly, whether it's a video call, an online meeting, a phone call, or an in-visit person. And also ask them if there are any other application procedures that you should follow to, through the proper channels. And then always remember to thank them and look forward to their response. Write your name, give your email, LinkedIn profile. If you can and if you would like, you can also include a phone number. And if you have more than CV attached to your email, say for example for postdocs, you can include a couple of your best publications. Do not, if you have 10 or 15, do not include all of them, because it would be listed in your CV. But if you are a master student applying for a PhD program, you can just add your CV. Now make sure that all your enclosures are titled with your name. Do not write any vague names like revised CV or CV1 or CV of this and this. Always make sure that you write your full name, first name, last name, underscore CV. Same for the publication. For example, in my case, I would write Kamdar, that's it. Or you can say Kamdar Radhika .pdf, and that would be public, or 1 and 2. Or you can just write one more word which is the keyword of that particular publication. For example, I would say here Kamdar underscore GTP. That's it. That would be my first publication. And if I have one more, I will find another keyword and say CRCC4 or XRCC4, depending on whatever your publication is. Just your name and one or two words which are the keywords for your publication. So once you're done with these, this would be your complete email. This would be a very professional, and it is ready to be sent. Now give them a couple of weeks to come back to you. It might take longer sometimes, but do not be disheartened. Just wait for a couple of weeks. If they still do not respond, send a very short and a crisp follow up email. And the template for that is here. Again, use the same prefix, whatever you have used in the previous mail, and give the same pleasantry, and just write a very short email saying, I want to follow up with my previous email regarding PhD or postdoc opportunities, whatever is your opportunity here, whether it's a PhD or postdoc, and say that you remain very interested in their research. You can give your topic name here when it says research, and would appreciate any updates on the available positions, and looking forward to your response, and give your name. That's it. You may or may not include your details further, and always make sure that you give the follow up email or send the follow up email as an ongoing thread to your previous email. Do not compose a new email. Make it a email, leave it as an email trail, so they can refer to the thread above in case they have missed the previous email for whatever reasons. Now after this, again, you can give them a couple of weeks to get back to you. But if they still have not gotten back to you, then maybe it's time to move on. And that's why I've suggested, even in my previous video, that please try to find multiple mentors or researchers who align with your interest, and send multiple emails at the same time, so that your duration of this whole process is shortened and you find the right mentor in a shorter while. Voila, there you have your professional email. Although writing a very professional email to your potential dream mentor for a PhD position or a postdoc opportunity may seem daunting, with the right approach, you can make a great impression and increase your visibility. Always make sure that your email is shorter, crisper, concise, and tailored to their research. It should also align with your research goals. So as promised, let me share how I found my dream mentor. So I was working as a senior research fellow in one of the labs, and my potential mentor, who was not a potential mentor at that time, had visited my institute to give a seminar. I was so impressed with his work, and it very closely aligned with my research interests. So I thought I would go and speak with him, but I was really skeptical about living in a country where vegetarian food is not available. But you might find that why was I worrying about food at that time, but I was. So I tried to go talk to him, but unfortunately their schedule was so tight and I could not find time to speak with him in person. But I knew that he was advertising open positions in his lab for PhDs and postdocs. So I went back to my lab and did some Google search. I found out who his corresponding author was, and I took a chance and emailed him saying that I had attended Professor so and so's seminar and I was really interested in his research, and I would like to be a part of his lab as a PhD student if I could find contact details and I could email him. Couple of weeks passed, in fact couple of months passed, but then I heard from him one day and he was very interested in what I had to say. He also apologized that we couldn't speak in person, which was very gracious of him. But then we started communicating. He asked about my research interest, my previous experiences, my publications, and we also had a phone call meeting, and voila, that's it. After that, there was no looking back on my research career. So that's how I found my dream mentor and my dream position. I wish you the same, finding your mentor. And if you have any questions, do write them in the comment box and I will try my best to help you out. Good luck with your PhD applications and see you in the next video. Ciao.